Good afternoon, it is Wednesday the 19th of April 2023. This video is one that's been requested over the last few weeks. It's been requested quite a lot, and one person posted in the comments that they would be interested in me doing a video on this particular topic. So Brandy, congratulations on the grandbaby, the grandson. This one's for you. Right, this is about water fasting. Now, water fasting has a hell of a lot of health benefits. So what do I mean by water fasting and why water fast? If you're a person like me in the 50s, male or female, it doesn't matter, but it does particularly affect women more than men in the 50s. You'll maybe start to find that certain things start creeping up on you. If you're menopausal, the weight might start creeping up. Weight is an issue. You might start feeling creaky joints and the hot sweats and the not being able to sleep and they're just generally feeling meh. Right. So, quick backstory. I fell onto water fasting about 3 years ago, but didn't really do much with it. But last year I had a bit of a health crisis and I was told that I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now I wasn't overweight at the time, and I don't drink. So the first thing that I went to was, well, I don't drink, so why have I got this? However, I did have this non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which apparently affects a lot of people, particularly when you get to the midlife. And I had all these terrible blood results and what have you. And I'd started water fasting, and I researched, and I got to the stage where I was getting ready to go for a scan, and I was sort of quite worried because I was starting to feel pain as well in the area of my liver and around my ribs on the right hand side. So I fasted for just took water only for 72 hours every week for about 4 weeks. But prior to this, I'd had a scan, an ultrasound scan, and there was you could see the fatty deposits on my liver. And I had to have another one a few months later. Anyway, when I went for the one a few months later, my liver was perfectly fine. All the fat in my liver had gone, and it was fine. I didn't have any issues. Right, fast forward, because I'd got rid of the issues, I went back to my usual routine, if you like. And I'm the sort of person that likes crisps. Chips, you would say chips in the US. Crisps, pies, pastries, breads, all that kind of thing. Love that kind of food. But I also, until recently, lived alone. So it was just quick and simple, and you can't be asked to cook when you're on your own sometimes. Particularly when it's nicer weather. So you just grab what you can, stuff your face and go. And this issue has resurfaced for me. So before it gets to the stage where it did last year, I have now gone back to water fasting. And so today is the first day that I am now water fasting. What does it do? It depends on how long during the day that you fast, but if you go back, if you're my age, you'll remember growing up in the 70s and 80s, you had your breakfast, you had your lunch, you had your dinner, and then there was nothing else until the next day. So we naturally fasted overnight, and then we had breakfast when we broke our fast. Break fast, that's the meaning of it. And then it's obviously over the course of decades, we've got this, breakfast cereals and everything laced with sugar. And what I've found is that a lot of pre-made, ready-made foods aren't necessarily as nutritious as the people who make them would have us believe. And the big devil in this is sugar. So refined carbohydrates, which is found in all the foods that, hey presto, I love. However, the devil is sugar and corn syrup. The sorts of things that are, that you will get a lot of. Corn syrup will be in the fast food places. They use corn syrup because it's cheap, what have you, but it does create a lot of issues. And if you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or you carry your weight round your middle, or you're feeling sluggish and slow, and maybe you're not thinking straight, maybe not sleeping very well, just feel basically shite for no apparent reason, it could possibly have something to do with your diet. We also now have a lifestyle where we sit in front of the television eating chips and sweets and candies, chocolates, all that kind of thing. We actually never give our body a rest. We're constantly eating. The only time we rest is when we sleep. And a lot of us typically only sleep 6, 7, 8 hours. So we're not giving the liver, the body, the digestive system enough of a break in between meals. When we fast, we give our digestive system a huge break, and then your body has then got the energy to repair parts of your body that it's not been able to pay attention to because it's spent most of its time digesting food. And digestion takes a lot of the body's energy. So if you want to try this, you're quite welcome to go along with me. I've now got black coffee because I've eaten my tea. If you want to go along with me, I typically will water fast for about 20 hours a day. And then I have a 4-hour eating period, an eating window, where I will then have milk in my tea or coffee. And I will have I'll break my fast with something light, and then a couple of hours later I'll have my dinner, and then that is it. I find it really easy to stick to that way because if you go on a typical diet, you're constantly in your mind, you're thinking, what can I have for lunch? What can I have for dinner? How many calories is in that? With water fasting, you don't have to think about calories. You're just going, well, that's what I'm going to have for my tea. That's what I'm going to have when I can eat. That's what I'm going to have for my tea, and then that's it. I'm going to be full, and that's it. At the beginning of water fasting, it's quite tricky. It's quite difficult, particularly if you do cut out the refined sugars, which I would advise you to do. You might get headaches. You might have to, spend a few days with really blinding headaches. Take paracetamol, you'll be fine. It does go away over days, depending on just how much sugar depending on how much sugar you consume. Come here, that's enough. It's all right. We've got an issue with I've got a poltergeist. I've got a menace at the moment in the house, and it's a child. And it's a child that's runs through the house, and I'll deal with that later. Humph, it's okay. It's just a child. It's okay. I'll deal with it later. It's just a child. Anyway, beside the point. So, what happens while you're fasting? And I've sort of written a few notes, so forgive me. Once you've eaten your dinner, between the moment you've eaten your dinner and within 2 hours, your blood sugar starts to rise. And it stays elevated for about 5 hours, where it begins to drop slightly. After about 8 hours after your last meal, that is only when your blood sugar starts to return to normal. So if you think if you're the type of person that has a 6-7 hour sleep, and then you're eating and then you're constantly snacking all the time, your blood sugar's never returning to normal. So you overload your liver starts storing everything as fat. After about 10 hours, your body goes into something called gluconeogenesis, where your liver has used up all its glycogen stores, the glucose stores, and then your body starts to utilize glucose from your fat stores. If you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, your liver will start to burn the fat within the liver. You won't see the fat reducing from the outside of your body because your liver starts to metabolize the fat that's collected around your organs, heart, liver, all that kind of thing. But after about 10 hours, it's interesting. For me, it's about 12 hours because I'm a little bit older. You start to become a little bit sharper in your thinking. From about 12 hours, you've then begun to cheat your body into burning your fat stores as a source of fuel. Now, this is called ketosis. Your liver then starts to burn ketones as a source of fuel rather than the fat from your food. It has to tackle the food you eat first. It can't go to your fat stores until it's depleted all the stores within it. Your brain loves ketones. It makes you very, very sharp. Your body loves the ketones. But when you start this fasting journey sort of thing, if you're going to start this fasting journey, you will have times when you feel like you are dying for something to eat. You're not hungry. It's a hormone called ghrelin. It's your stomach producing a hormone called ghrelin, which is telling you to eat. It's making you feel hungry. If you have a glass of water or a very watered down cup of black coffee, no sugar in it, and leave it half an hour to an hour, that hunger will disappear. If the hunger disappears after an hour, you can have 2 or 3 black coffees and water in between or whatever. If that hunger disappears, that's just the hormone ghrelin, which is designed to spike and then drop. So if you don't eat when you have that feeling of hunger, it will then start to drop, and then you can train your body to no longer be hungry. And over time, you stop becoming hungry until you're due to eat. Your body gets used to your new eating times. When you get to about 18 hours of fasting, you are in a state of ketosis. Your body becomes very efficient at fat burning, at burning the fat from your body. Interestingly enough, if you go to 48 hours just drinking water, no sugar, no creamers, no milk, no sodas, even diet sodas, because that makes your liver produce insulin. That's not what you want. Because artificial sweeteners trick your liver into burning insulin. You need to be at a very low blood sugar level. Your body goes into something called autophagy. Now, autophagy is a Greek word which means self-devouring. Your body starts to utilize old cells, dying cells, dead cells, diseased cells, and starts to convert those, burns those and converts those into ketones. So it's a way of your body clearing up all the crap, if you like, that's left over in your body. Any dysfunctional cells, viruses, bacteria, your body starts to use the bad bacteria that's not necessary for survival, and it will utilize that for fuel. After about 56 hours, growth hormone increases. Now, growth hormone helps you preserve your muscle mass. So when people say if you don't eat, you lose your muscle, actually you don't. This growth hormone kicks in to help you preserve your muscle mass. By 72 hours, your body has become sensitive to insulin. And if you are an at-risk group for type 2 diabetes, working your way up to a 72-hour fast is very good for you. That's one way to reverse type 2 diabetes. It's doable. And also at 72 hours, your body starts to regenerate cells. So you're starting to turn back the clock on your cells. They're starting to renew and become new cells. And your immunity starts to rise. So if you're someone with low immunity, it's a very good idea to start on a fasting journey. Bear in mind that I am a spiritual person, and so, excuse me, the sun's really, really bright. I'm a spiritual person, and so I have a lot of respect for water. Water has its own consciousness. So as it's the new moon tomorrow, it's about intention, setting your intentions. So if you're going to go on this journey with me, when you drink a glass of water or you've got a black coffee like I have right now, without sugar, without sweeteners, without creamer, without milk. It's actually really nice if you do it weak. If you want to go on this journey with me, I like to set an intention into the water. And my intention is for the water in this coffee to help cleanse, clean and clear the blockages within my body. Also, because I'm a spiritual person, I find that when I'm in a fasted state, my intuition is sharper. I hear much clearer. I see more. I get more from my meditations. I'm in a more heightened state of awareness. And so if you're wanting to go on this journey, it would be an interesting experiment for you. Even if you only do it for a week, it's really, really good. It's good for all sorts of things. It's good for people with heart conditions, blocked arteries, coronary heart disease, lung conditions. They've even done some research into COVID. And the last time I had COVID, I did actually fast because I was sick anyway. So I water fasted for 3 days during COVID, and I recovered a lot having COVID, while I was having COVID, and I recovered a lot quicker than I did the time before. I've had COVID 3 times, all different, all very different symptoms, all very different. But the last time I had COVID, it did knock me sideways. And I didn't fast the last time. It was the sort of second time I had it. I fasted for 3 days and I was fine. So if you're not used to it, don't go straight for a longer fast. Try 12 hours and then do that for a while, and then go up to 13 and do that for a few days, and then go to 14 and do that for a few days. So to train your body to go a little bit longer and a little bit longer. I'm already in at 20 hours. Well, I'm not in at 20 hours, but I'm starting at 20 hours. I will be fasting now until 2 p.m. tomorrow, and at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, that's when my fasting will end. I'm going to be bringing that further forward so that I eat more during the earlier part of the day, and then I've got the rest of the day to just fast and get on with what I'm doing, because it's better for you to eat earlier during the day, not necessarily breakfast time. And if you are going to do a long fast, don't just go straight into a massive meal. Have something small, some scrambled egg or even a smoothie or something like that first, just to give your body some chance of getting used to food. So I'm on 20 hours. I'm hoping that by the end of the month, I'll be ready to do a 3-day fast. And if you want to be on the journey with me, you're welcome to join. There is lots of information out there about water fasting. Some people call it intermittent fasting. One of my favourite doctors is an eminent heart surgeon called Dr. I think it's Pradeep Gymnadis. He's in America, I believe. Pradeep Gymnadis. Or is it Jamnadas? Jamnadas. He is excellent, and there's lots of he's put lots of lectures on his YouTube channel which will explain much better than I can, because I'm not medically trained. But believe me, I'm a living testament that this works. Put good intentions into your water, intentions to heal, to rebalance, to get rid of all the old crap that's in your body. Even if you just want to be a little bit more brighter in the mind, a little bit sharper in your intuition. At the beginning it's tough though, so that's when people fold in the beginning. I'm not folding, I've been through it, I know what it's like. It's awful at the beginning, but it's well worth it, believe me. So Brandy, that one's for you. I hope you like it. And also, if you want to know more about water consciousness, somewhere in the past 122 videos that I've done a video about Masaru Emoto, Dr. Masaru Emoto, and water consciousness. Take a look. Anyway, I'm tired. I've been at work all day and I'm absolutely bloody knackered. Anyway, see you later. Take care. Ta-ra.